Blaziken was always a strong card, but the fact that it was paired with Entei, just a bad Pokemon overall, made it feel very lackluster. However, by dropping the Entei package, adding a Heatmore, Copycat, and a May, it kind of solved the weakness that Blaziken had. With the new addition of the bench damage being available in the deck, it really lets Blaziken be able to beat a lot more matchups that it usually couldn't with the Entei line. Yo, what is going on today, guys? We're back here for another video, and we have an updated Blaziken list. Actually, I guess this is technically my first Blaziken list, as I never uploaded the Entei one because I never thought it was that good of a deck. Although I did think Blaziken was as a Stoke Zard hater. You can see here by the name of the deck, as a matter of fact. However, I've been playing this deck for a little bit for the last 3 days. It also just made top 3 or top 4. I know it made top 4. I don't know if it got 3rd or 4th in the Pocket Match tournament, 800 plus players. This list is one card different than what the person who got 4th or 3rd ended up playing. However, this is just my preferred version. So we are playing the 2 Torchics, we are placing the 1 Combuskin, and we are playing 2 Mega Blaziken, and we're not running a non-EX Blaziken. With the addition of the Rocky Helmet plus the Heatmores and the Combuskin, you do have ways to play around Oricorios. Would love to have it, but we just don't have any space. Besides that, dude, we have the 2 Heatmores, which is basically just Hitmonlee, but fire types. It just does 30 damage to the bench. Which you might be thinking, it's not like Jirachi that could also do, you know, 30 to the active. However, the 80 HP is really nice, and I would love for it to be able to attack the active, but it just is what it is, man. It's still good, don't get me wrong, especially in a format with so many Pokemon, or so many decks that run baby Pokemon. 2 Pokeballs, we only have room for 1 Flame Patch, but because Heatmore is only a 1 energy and 1 retreat cost, you don't need 2 Flame Patches with the Entei build. Would be lovely to have, but like I said, with the non-EX Blaziken, you just don't have room. Besides that, the 2 rare candies. I choose to only have 1 Rocky Helmet over a Sabrina, which is the thing I prefer in my Blaziken build, just to also have another route to play around in Oricorio. 2 Professor Researches, 1 Sabrina, like I just mentioned, the 1 Cyrus, the 1 May to help find the Combuskin, or you know, whatever piece you do need, the 1 Copycat, and the 1 Lily. Anyways, I think this is going to be the main way people run Blaziken going forward, and let's get into the game showcasing off how the deck works. So we are going first. We might be in a mirror match just based off the fact that I do see that fire energy. However, now we are definitely not. They are playing Pichu, and if I'm going to be 100% honest, I have no clue what I'm about to see. However, we have a pretty good start with the 2 Heatmores and the Torchic. And because this like might be a deck that plays baby Pokemon, like I'm kind of thinking what the Pichu is there for. I know last meta there was like Jolteon Eevee. However, I have no clue, bro. So I guess we'll find out. But the Heatmore is extremely good against. All right, that is going to be a deck. It is looking like we are going to be facing some sort of Lugia variant. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Well, first off, I think a Flame Patch Mega Blaziken would be godlike in this situation. Let's see if we actually end up getting that. We do get the other Torchic, which actually can be very nice. We could technically go for like a Blaziken line. However, I'm going to be so real. And I'm going to actually... Oh, this is interesting because that Pichu is always going to be a liability now unless they have a giant cube to put on it because they have a second Heatmore. I think what I'm going to do, bro, is I'm not really scared of a Lugia necessarily, but like a Flame Patch would be definitely huge. I'm kind of I'm debating on if I want to attack off Heatmore now, and I think I actually do, because 1, I could theoretically get a Flame Patch, and then 2, I could just snipe the Pichu next turn. They're probably gonna go in, and then I could always just win with a Cyrus or like a Sabrina onto the Lugia, like depending on the situation. Flame Patch would go crazy though, so I could attack up Heatmore with like a Flame Patch attached to the back Torchic. However, we are gonna have to see what happens. Okay, yep. This is what I was predicting, but I always could do. Because Lugia actually can't one-shot a Mega Blaziken. What I could do in this situation is actually Heatmore onto the Lugia, so if I do get a Mega Blaziken, I could just one-tap both of them. I guess depending on what I draw, that is going to be the option that I might have to go with. Let's see. Rare candy. Ooh, the Rocky Helmet is actually godlike. Unfortunately, though, we didn't get that Heat Pat. Like, we didn't get the Flame Patch, but I think that's actually fine. Because what we can do... Let's see. Like, do I want to just... Dude, I'm actually debating on if I want to attack just KO that Pichu, but I think with the Rocky Helmet, I'm like guaranteed to get 2 KOs. Let's see. Bottom 5, I have Copycat as well. I think I'm definitely going to evolve in the Mega Blaziken. I do lose to a Sabrina if I do attack with the Hemor though, which is the scary option. I think I lose to Sabrina anyways if I don't attack. And I think the Rocky Helmet is actually going to go on the Mega Blaziken, because I don't think they're going to go in with the Lugia yet. And you know what, man? I think I'm going to take the KO on the Pichu, because I'm going to be able to rare candy next turn. Like, I guess I could have put it on the Lugia in case I do have like something like a PCL. But, you know, if the Rocky Helmet, basically nothing can one-shot the Mega Blaziken and everything will just get revenge KO'd. So there has to be something my opponent is scared of, because if they keep Ho-Oh in and attack, they do just lose if I have Flame Patch, which they might be worried about. At the same time, you know, my opponent can't play around that, and they actually might genuinely have a Sabrina, bro. Which is why I didn't rare candy evolve into my other Blaziken. I'm actually gonna kind of bank on either getting a, in this situation I have 3 top decks. I have Copycat, Flame Patch, or Mega Blaziken. We ended up actually top decking in the 1 Flame Patch, but like I said, dude, I did have a 50-50 3 out of 6 cards. Now we simply just attack on me, we win. And that just shows you the value of, with a format with like so many baby Pokemon, like Hemor is just extremely powerful, bro. So we are gonna go against the grass deck. And because I'm kind of expecting this to be the Decidueye, this might be a throw, but I'm actually going to lead the Torchic. And it's actually going to be Turbo Celebi, which is insane, bro. Which, yeah, this is just not good. This is just genuinely not good. I was not expecting this. They did place 2 things down, so that had me a little bit suspicious. But I kind of thought they saw the Fire Engine and were like, okay, let's just put things down to play around Copycat, which is pretty common. We might be doing a swap out play because they are going to be ramping that energy onto the Celebi. If we can find the rare candy, we might be in a fine position. So I don't think I want to, I don't need it on anything necessarily. So I probably will just put it on the Blaziken in case we see some other sort of grass type that's not a Celebi come out. But I think for now, man, like I might just like, I don't want to lose a Sabrina, bro. That's like the main issue right now. Like I feel like if I led Hemor, I'd be in like a really good position, because I could literally just stack up on the back Blaziken and be fine. Or, you know, I mean, if we get another Torchic here, I mean, I would not be opposed, if I'm going to be so real. Yeah, that gives me a lot more confidence. I definitely want the Sabrina, don't get me wrong, but I kind of have to Copycat. And I'm going to Copycat this turn in case I draw something like a Professor Research off it. Which, let's see, 2 Mega Blazikens, we get the rare candy, and we get the Sabrina back, bro. That is absolutely crazy. Shoots. I think I'm gonna set up one on the back, bro. I'm gonna play a little bit safe. I'm not gonna lie. What I could have done is evolve the active and then, you know, use Sabrina next turn, because they probably wouldn't go aggro. But if they drew any other Pokemon, like my Sabrina would have no use. So I'm gonna play a little bit safe and attach to that back one, and let's just see if they get greedy and go in. Snorlax Celebi was not something I was expecting. And this could generally kind of be a problem, but the fact that we actually have the 2 Hemors is kind of saving us, because this Magby, we only have to knock out one of these Pokemon and they can't do anything to Blaziken. So I'm in this situation, I'm literally just gonna charge up on the back one. Like, there's no debate on that. We can do the immersive just because why not? It's just immersive, by the way. It is so confusing to look at, bro. Like sometimes I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't know if anybody else feels that same way. But yeah, dude, we could just generally do this. And I mean, the Celebi, even if it puts like a Leaf Cape on, it still gets knocked out, right? Because we do 100, yeah, we do 160 to it. So like the Celebi gets one shot. The Snorlax is like kind of annoying, but at the same time, I mean, we're just going to swap into, I think we're just going to swap in the Hemor potentially. We're probably going to Sabrina, and if they put Snorlax in, like we could just swap in the Hemor, get the Pichu KO. And then, I don't know, I feel like in that situation, we're kind of just chilling. or not the Pichu, but we can get the Magby KO. Obviously, like, this is a meme deck, but this is just basically showing off the power of the Heatmore. If I really even wanted, so I could just make it into a Combuskin right now, as a matter of fact. Which, I guess, yeah, like, why not, actually? Because the Snorlax has nothing on it. Unfortunately, we actually don't get the Combuskin. Now that I'm thinking about it, we did forget to put that in the deck. Which is totally something I forgot about. However, it is fine. It just doesn't really matter, bro. Like, I probably will just keep the Mega one, because why not? Probably should have used Sabrina. I really thought I had Combuskin in the deck, so I was planning on using Combuskin to knock it out, but I actually forgot to add it. Which, is my current dilemma. But I think that's fine. I mean, do we still just attack with Torchic? I mean, this guy can't really do anything. Like, I should have Sabrina because he would be forced to go into Snorlax. Snorlax is trapped and we switch the Heatmore and then we just snipe the Magby. But I just don't see a way we actually lose this game. Like, this guy's charging up 2 million things on Celebi, which does not matter because we just win with, like I said, bro, like a Sabrina. Unless you place down like another baby Pokemon, which would suck, but we still have like a 1-1-3 line we can go into. All right, so in this situation, I mean, I actually don't need a Sabrina because of the fact that, you know, the Magby gets one shot anyways. So low key right here in this situation, 90x Blaziken obviously would have been better. However, I mean, we also have Cyrus. So what I'm simply just gonna do is I'm just gonna attack them. And like I said, brother, Celebi can't come in. And now if they do try to, for some reason, maybe like Ilima tank with the Snorlax, all I have to do is use the Heatmore and then Cyrus around them. They do go straight on the Celebi though, so I think they might just be accepting the fact that they do lose this match to the Mega Blaziken. Yeah, they use the Leaf Cape, but like I said, dude, we actually do 160 damage anyways to the Celebi, plus the Rocky Helmet. Like, alright, the Ho-Oh is kind of funny because we face two Ho-Ohs back to back now, Blaziken, but it's like really just showcasing off how like Heatmore, like I said, like theoretically, like the lines they could have done with like the Ilima Snorlax, if they even had that, it gets punished by Heatmore Cyrus, so doesn't necessarily get showcased in the video, but you guys understand the whole, you know, impact of Heatmore. Plus we don't have rank, dude, and I will be real, sometimes I spend 2 hours and I just can't face a meta deck, and that just kind of is what it is. So that's why I'm just showcasing you how the deck works. So when or like some lines you can do against other mega decks. For example, if you're facing an Absol, maybe we actually find an Absol later on in the video, you could easily, you know, do some Heatmore snipes too, and then Cyrus it in with Blaziken if you still have that option. Heatmore also knocks out the Pichu, so if you can go into a non-EX Blaziken, you can go for like a 1-1 line, like, you know, like knock things out with a Sabrina on the Mega Blaziken. You know, there's a bunch of different scenarios. Alright, you did see that we had a non-EX Blaziken in. That was actually supposed to be Combuskin. I just forgot to change the deck list from the last time I used it. So if you guys are wondering about that, I just want to give that clarity. Alright, we are going up against an electric deck. Let's see how this plays out. We have both the Torchics in hand as well as a Heatmore. So this is going to be Jolteon. So going first is actually pretty bad for us. And we do start with the Torchic. Definitely would have preferred something. However, something like a Flame Pouch could be clutch. Obviously, we are guaranteed a Heatmore. There's no reason to Professor before, as we do want to see the rare candies. Because I'm not going to cap, bro. Like, if we just see something like a rare candy, next turn, I could just evolve. If the Jolteon hits me for 80, bro, I just do not care. Might keep that Rocky Helmet, bro, because I really don't want this Torchic to take damage. Like, if theoretically, this guy could have the non-EX Jolteon just one-tap me, which would actually be pretty depressing. Which is why I wish we actually started Heatmore, just to be able to, you know, do some sniping damage. They are going to go into the Jolteon EXO, which I'm actually fine with. Giant Cape as well. Alright, in this situation, bro, like literally just let me see rare candy. And I'm pretty confident I could win this match. Alright, 2 Mega Blazikens. It does come down to this. Let's see what happens. We have the Combuskin. Okay. The Combuskin is nice. The thing that absolutely sucks is I can't attach to the back, because if I do, this guy can just easily what is the word I'm looking for? Cyrus me in. I do have the Copycat, and my opponent actually has a big hand size. I'm gonna place the Rocky Helmet on the Blaziken, and I'm gonna be so real. We're just gonna attack with the Torchic and kind of bank on me using a big Copycat on finding Flame Patch. If not, then I don't know what we can do. So that is my play. We also have the Sabrina to possibly play around in Oricorio. Some Jolteon decks still play 1. Some do play 2, but most of the time they're kind of just like solo Zera now with like a Pikachu EX. So we gotta kind of like see what happens. But my opponent is doing that. That actually does play around. And I kind of put the Rocky Helmet. Oh, they're actually playing the Jolteon Ampharos deck. I have seen this a couple times. It's not something that's like super common. Okay, however, like it's like a 3 copycat, like low key, bro. I kind of just have to go for it. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That potion actually threw me off guard. Like that might be the reason we might be getting cooked. However, at this point, there's nothing left we can do. And I'm not super scared of a Mega Ampharos because what I always could do is like something. However, I'm getting rid of a Sabrina. Let's just copycat. Let's see what we do end up getting before I place my energy down. Cyrus, Sabrina, and we actually end up drawing the Flame Patch plus the Sabrina. Now this Jolteon will not be able to attack me unless they have another hill card. And because we aren't attaching from the energy zone, we actually don't take an extra 20 damage from the Jolteon. We will, however, on this one. So I think if I actually had the Rocky Helmet on the beginning one, dude, with that extremely lucky Copycat, which is why Copycat is like the best card in the game. Like this card is on par with Cyrus. Obviously they both have different utilities, but I think Cyrus and Copycat are hands down the top 2 best cards in the game. I think what I'm gonna do, bro, well, I was actually gonna Sabrina. Hopefully they don't have like double E-switch, but I'm definitely just gonna Sabrina Cyrus now. I mean, if this Jolteon wants to attack, I mean, it can't. But like, I actually know if they swap it, they'd have to have X speed E-switch, bro. No, it's not impossible, bro. They don't have enough cards in the hand. I'm just being schizo. I'm trying to play around too many situations. Yeah, but I could just literally Sabrina Cyrus. Now we actually got the perfect thing. I mean, they could always Mars me or red card me, but I don't think they're gonna do that to a double hand. Interesting that they're using E-switch. Maybe they just concede because they realize that the Jolteon can't attack. It's gonna get knocked out next turn, and the Ampharos won't actually be able to deal with a Mega Blaziken. Potentially, or they're doing some weird swap out play. I actually don't know what that E-switch was. That kind of took me off guard. However, like I said, dude, we had the Sabrina Cyrus anyway, so I was fairly confident we win, as I don't believe my opponent would red card me with a 1-card hand next turn. They're actually switching in the Mega Ampharos. This is, so I think my opponent actually misplayed. I don't think they meant to use that E-switch on the Jolteon, but like I said, bro, it actually doesn't matter because I have the Sabrina. Plus, you know, they can't attack them. So theoretically, let's say next turn they wanted to do that. Like I said, they're going to get Sabrina in anyways. They obviously didn't have a Pokemon in hand. So don't get me wrong, they 100% misplay, but they would come in, I only take 100 damage. That's not going to one-shot a Mega Blaziken. And in the following turn, like, they just get knocked out. The Jolteon can never attack again unless they had another potion. They could have like an Oricorio right now, which could be something. No, but it's just another Eevee Breast. That's actually going to be GG's. Didn't get a showcase off Hemor, dude, but it basically showed why Combuskin is very nice in the deck with the combination of, you know, Mega Blaziken and Rocky Helmet, which I think is way better than Cape, personally. Okay, so we are starting first with May Hemor. This is actually not bad because the May will potentially let us get access to the Combuskin. And we are facing another baby deck. This is water, so this could be Paul. I mean, this could be anything, bro. We end up getting the Torchic anyways, which is fantastic to us. Maybe I should not place that down in case my opponent does have something like a what's the word I'm looking for, man? What's the word I'm looking for? Sabrina or Repel. I'm assuming this might be Mega Gyarados, and just with that Hemor pressure, they actually are cooked unless they have something like a Giant Cape or land a really big Misty Flip onto the Magikarp with a Cape. It is going to be Magikarp. Let's see if they have it, dude. Like, maybe, like I said, dude, I think the Torchic plays. Oh, they are going it. I like this play, dude. I like this play. This is playing around the fact that at any moment they can lose to the Hemor Snipe. Unfortunately for them, depending on obviously what we get, we're definitely going to main this situation because I want to see the Combuskin, which is perfect. That's exactly what I end up getting. And I'm gonna get rid of the immersive. I'm gonna be honest, I think this is the best Blaziken. It just looks the best besides the 2-star, obviously. And we get rid of the second Torchic. And like, dude, I only get punished if they land a Misty Flip. You know what, dude, let me play around a Misty Flip. I'm gonna be so real. Let me play around that. I will put the energy on the Combuskin because I don't think it matters if I take the KO this turn. Plus, if they go into a Mega Blaziken, you know, I kind of need the first attack off. Kind of wish we did have like another basic Pokemon that actually play around Sabrina, but hopefully that doesn't happen. And hopefully we kind of draw the Cyrus. We also could actually top deck into a Sabrina to snipe the Magikarp, which we don't get. We do get Copycat though, and I'm gonna Copycat this hand 10 times out of 20, bro. There is no reason not to, because we literally are using one card. We're going -1, -2 technically for 6 cards, so I don't even care, bro. That's a +4. We get another basic plus a rare can't. Oh, dude, we just have it all, bro. We actually just have it all. I think in this situation, I don't think there's a way for us to lose. I'm gonna be so honest. Because we usually have never for us to research. I mean, he can land a Misty Flip next turn, but at this point, like, I just win. I'm gonna only place another Hemor. Actually, I'm gonna place only a Hemor. I don't want to lose to like a Sabrina endgame in some weird situation where like a non-EX Gyarados comes out and deletes my Blaziken energy, so I don't want to lose in that situation. So I'm just gonna snipe the Mantike now. We take the first KO. And I mean, we just swap in the Mega Blaziken next turn, and whatever happens, happens. Preferably we get a Flame Patch as well to be able to like stack energy up in case of some weird situation like a TRG, or not Mega Blaze, or not Mega Gyarados. But like Hemor and like stuff like Jirachi is like the main reason Mega Gyarados can't really. I think Mega Gyarados is actually a very strong card, but we just have way too many bench snipers right now in the game that basically makes it impossible for Magikarp to be playable, because both Mantike and Magikarp just easily get knocked out. And if you can't do a fast ramp up on the Magikarp, like, dude, my opponent spent 3 turns putting everything into the active spot because, what is the word I'm looking for, bro? He spent 3 turns putting in the active spot. Kind of wish I had the Rocky Helmet tutor, like maybe like even a second Blaziken at this point, but how much damage do we do? So we're gonna do 140 damage because, or 120. We're only be doing 240 in turn, so actually an Irida is gonna let him live. So this could be actually pretty bad for us. So I think I'm gonna let him attack into the Hemor first. I don't know if that's crazy, dude, but I think we need this additional Rocky Helmet damage, so that's actually what I'm gonna do. Kind of regretting not placing down that second Torchic now, because the extra, actually, well, I wouldn't be able to do 20 damage to it anyways. They are going to be basically another Magikarp down. What I actually could do, which would be hilarious, is Sabrina in that one, and then what I could do is just you know, snipe the Mega Gyarados. They are using silver to put something back in my deck. I mean, I really don't care about any of these cards, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, the Lily is, I think without a cape, I think it 2-taps me anyways, so because it's 160 damage, yeah. They do get rid of Cyrus, bro, which is kind of annoying, but we still do have that Sabrina plus like another Hemor if necessary. Like we have a lot of options. I think we only lose to like a second Mega Gyarados coin flip now, and like them placing something else down like a Cyrus later on, so who really knows? I need to attack now to not give them options. And the Professor Researcher is pretty nice just to draw cards. Rare Candy. Would you get a Flame Patch as well? I'm thinking about just using that in case they like red card me. I don't think we need to, but I might as well, right? I don't think I'm ever going into another one because, you know, it's going to get discarded. So I might as well just use it now. And even through something like an Irida, they'd have to have like Irida Potion. Maybe I didn't actually need the Rocky Helmet damage, but I kind of feel like I needed it. So I get like double Irida, I guess. But like I said, yeah, I have the Sabrina, which they do know I have. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't get rid of it. Might be a misplay later on. But like I said, dude, like I don't think it could ever come back in anyways, because I'll just swap out the Hemor. And I'll just keep sniping it until it came back in eventually. Because, you know, obviously they can't attack me this turn. My only lose condition would be a second Misty, but if they Misty me, you know, they can't do anything. So yeah, at this point it's just a checkmate. Definitely think they should have got rid of the Sabrina. However, I don't think it matters anyways, because I just attacked the first one anyways if they do swap out, and then this one, you know, does get KO'd. Maybe the Rocky Helmet would have been better on the Mega Blaziken after some hindsight, but at the end of the day, man, it was very early on in the game, and I kind of wanted to get it out of my hand for the Copycat, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe I just kind of used it early to play around a red card. I actually kind of forget, to be honest. Yeah, we don't lose this game, so I'll probably just cut to us winning. So they are gonna switch to the Mantike. All right, I mean, Mantike can't wrap anything up because they you know, they actually did well, Well, and we actually, it's funny, we actually canceled up 2 Mega Blazikens now, dude, because we actually drew the Torchic. My opponent can see this because they know I have Sabrina in my hand. Like I said, I think our only lose condition was technically a Misty, but at the same time, I would just go back in the heat more and they would have to like Misty Sabrina me at the same time. Anyways, I think that does it for the Mega Blaziken video. Obviously, we didn't face any Suicunes, but Blaziken like can actually be pretty good against Suicune because you can go into a fast, aggressive one and one-shot them if they don't have something like a giant cape on. The main issue in that matchup is actually going to be the Greninja EX. If they can get a Greninja EX to tank a hit, that is when Suicune players can definitely take advantage of Blaziken. Or if the Blaziken player, just draws late Blaziken. And the Absol matchup is very kind of just draw dependent because there are definitely lines that you could do. Like if they don't find like a Pichu or a Koryo combo fast, like the Blaziken player has like a lot of advantage. And Altaria is kind of a weird one as well because we have the Heat Morph, so we can't Cyrus in their Altaria if we do get a bunch of like chip damage on it as well. But they also have Jirachi to be able to snipe us, which is kind of annoying as well. So that matchup is more a weird one, and that definitely has like a lot of layers to it. However, I spent like a lot of time, bro. I wasn't able to find those decks, to be honest, no matter how hard I tried, and I can't just spend like 24 hours. This is just me showcasing how the deck does function and how it works and why Humor could be very good into the deck because, like I said, bro, plays very similar to stuff like Hitmonlee, dude. Hitmonlee, Gallade in the past, where obviously Hitmonlee did the 30 damage, and the Gallade didn't have a set amount of damage because it did depend on the energy on your opponents, where Blaziken does have that set amount of damage. But it's very similar with the Bench Sniper plus the Stage 2 Pokemon. And yeah, I think this basically fixed a lot of issues that Blaziken had because I always thought Blaziken needed an additional attacker. Entei just wasn't the best. I mean, you do draw the card, which is really nice, but Entei is just a bad card, bro. 2 for 60 with a 2 retreat cost is just not what you need. 1 retreat cost and Heatmore is lovely. Plus, accessing the bench when we are in a mega format where bench sniping is really strong in the game. I mean, we've already seen that with stuff like Greninja. We also have Jirachi now and Decidueye. Anyways, I think you guys understand how to play the deck, and I think you guys understand why Heatmore is actually a great addition to Blaziken. Let me know how the deck performs for you if you do try it out, and peace out and have a lovely day as always.